Jack is 4 years old. Jack does not speak. He makes sounds, soft ones, careful ones, but words do not come out of his mouth the way they come out of other people's. Words feel too sharp, too crowded. They pile up and hurt. So Jack listens instead. And Jack sees. He sits on the floor of his bedroom with his legs folded beneath him, pajama knees pressed into the carpet. In front of him, a row of toy animals stands perfectly aligned. Bear. Dog. Horse. Bear. Dog. Horse. He adjusts them gently until the pattern feels right. The room is dim, lit only by the hallway light slipping through his half-open door. Half open is important. Closed doors trap things. Open doors invite them. The air is calm. Still. The kind of quiet that feels like floating underwater. Jack hums. Low. Even. A sound he feels more than hears. The hum stops. The quiet changes. Jack doesn't move right away. He never does. Sudden movement gets attention. The light near the far wall bends, just barely, as if someone has passed their hand through steam. A warmth drifts into the room, soft and familiar, carrying the faint smell of old soap and clean cotton. Jack's fingers twitch. The shape finishes forming. Grandma Ruth stands near the dresser, hands folded in front of her the way she always used to stand when she was waiting for him. Her body looks thinner now, lighter, edges blurred like a photograph left in the sun too long. She smiles. Jack lets out a small sound, not a word, just breath with feeling in it, and rocks once, forward and back. Grandma kneels in front of him. "We're here, Jackie," she says gently. Jack presses his forehead against her chest. He feels warmth but no weight. He smells cookies and laundry and something old and safe. Behind her, Grandpa Eli waits. He looks more solid than Grandma tonight, shoulders squared, jaw set. His presence is steady, like a door that doesn't shake when the wind hits it. Jack taps the carpet twice with his fingertips. They are family. They are safe. The air darkens behind Grandpa. Not like nightfall. Like attention. Grandma stiffens. Grandpa turns slowly. Something stands in the hallway. It does not step into the room. It leans into the doorway as if testing the space, stretching too tall, bending where bones should not bend. Its surface looks like shadow soaked into skin. Where its face should be, there is depth, a hollow that feels hungry. Jack's breathing changes. Shorter. Faster. The thing notices. It always notices changes. Grandpa moves in front of Jack instantly. "No," Grandpa says firmly. The thing tilts its head. It does not speak out loud. But Jack hears it inside his chest, a pressure, a question without words. Grandma reaches for Jack, pulling him close. She hums softly, matching the sound Jack makes when he's scared. Their rhythms line up. The thing leans closer. Another shape gathers above it, something smaller, clinging to the ceiling, folded like an insect. It chatters faintly, teeth clicking together without mouths. Jack lets out a sharp sound, a broken cry. The ceiling creature freezes. Grandma's voice hardens. "You will not use his sounds." The air tightens. Grandpa's outline flares, bright and fierce. The hallway shadows recoil, peeling themselves away from the doorframe like wet fabric. The ceiling thing scuttles backward and vanishes into the corner between wall and roof. Silence drops hard. Jack trembles, rocking against Grandma. They are listening now, Grandpa says quietly. They know he hears. Grandma presses her forehead to Jack's. You must be careful with your sounds, she whispers. They learn patterns. Jack whimpers softly. A floorboard creaks somewhere far below. Not footsteps. Wait. The house exhales. Grandma begins to fade, light thinning through her hands. We'll come when you call us, she says. Even if you don't have words. Jack reaches for her, fingers passing through warmth and air. She's gone. Grandpa lingers a moment longer, eyes fixed on the doorway. The house is waking up, he warns. Then he fades too. Jack is alone again. He crawls into bed, pulling the blanket tight around himself. He hums, softer now, slower, trying not to change the quiet too much. From inside the walls, something shifts. The house remembers his sounds. And it is learning how to listen. Jack sleeps in pieces. Sleep never comes all at once. It arrives in thin layers, like blankets laid carefully over his body. Sometimes the blankets slide off. Sometimes they tangle around his legs and make it hard to breathe. Tonight, sleep hesitates at the edge of the bed. Jack lies on his side, knees tucked up, fingers pressed into the hem of his blanket. He rocks just slightly, not enough to be seen from far away, but enough to keep himself together. The house is quieter than before. Too quiet. When the house gets like this, it listens harder. The clock down the hallway ticks once, then skips. Jack's eyes flutter open. He doesn't lift his head. He doesn't change his breathing. He has learned that the house notices change more than motion. Something is sitting in the far corner of his room. It wasn't there before. It isn't shaped wrong like the hallway thing. This one understands rooms. It folds itself neatly into the corner like it belongs there, knees pulled up, arms wrapped around itself. It rocks. Not the way Jack rocks. Too slow. Too delayed. Like it watched him first. Jack's chest tightens. A sound slips out of him, small, sharp, unplanned. The thing freezes. Then it copies him. The sound it makes is wrong. Flattened. Stolen. Jack presses his lips together hard, face flushing. His hands begin to flap quietly against the blanket, a motion he can't stop once it starts. The thing's head lifts. It unfolds. Not standing, never standing, but stretching its spine upward along the corner seam of the walls. Its face is there now, barely formed, like someone sketched features and then erased them halfway through. It opens its mouth. Jack clamps both hands over his own. Grandma's warmth fills the room before the sound can escape. She appears beside the bed instantly, brighter than last time, her edges sharp with intent. Grandpa follows, solid and blocking, placing himself between Jack and the corner. That is enough, Grandma says. The thing smiles with a mouth that isn't finished yet. It cannot close the sounds, it whispers. They leak. We like that. Grandpa's voice is low and firm. You don't get to learn him. The thing tilts its head, curious. Everything learns, it replies. Even houses. The walls creak softly, as if responding. Jack's breathing is uneven now. Air rushes in through his nose, stutters, escapes in quiet whines he can't stop. Each sound is a beacon. The thing leans forward. Not closer, deeper. The shadow beneath Jack's bed stretches, thin fingers brushing the carpet fibers without touching them. Grandma kneels beside Jack, placing her glowing hands over his ears, not to block sound, but to frame it. "Hush," she hums. Slow. She matches her breath to his. Slow in. Slow out. The thing mimics her too, but offbeat, like a broken echo. Grandpa slams his foot down. The floorboard cracks, not physically, but spiritually, a sharp snap that ripples through the room. The shadow beneath the bed recoils, slithering back into tight darkness. The corner thing hisses, folding inward rapidly, collapsing back into the seam of wall and disappearing. Silence drops. Jack sags into Grandma's arms, exhausted. "It copies me," Jack wants to say. But no words come. Instead, he presses his forehead into her chest and makes a low aching sound that only she understands. "Yes," she whispers. "And that's why we must teach you a new way." Grandpa kneels too, eye level with Jack. "You can't stop the sounds," he says gently. "So we'll teach you where to put them." Grandma takes Jack's hands and places them flat on the mattress. "Here," she whispers. "The bed remembers good things. Safe things." Jack presses down. The mattress hums faintly beneath his palms, vibrating softly, like a purring animal. The house shifts. Confused. "It will get harder," Grandpa warns. "They'll try to take what makes him him." "What if they do?" Grandma asks quietly. Grandpa's jaw tightens. "Then the house will learn what it feels like to lose." Jack's eyelids flutter. Sleep tugs at him again, heavier this time, pulling him under before the bad ones can regroup. As he drifts off, the house settles around him, walls creaking like uneasy joints, beams sighing under pressure. Deep within the walls, something listens. And waits. Jack dreams of patterns tonight. Of sounds that don't travel outward, but downward. Into the bones of the house. Jack dreams without pictures. Pictures are too loud. Instead, he dreams in shapes and pressures and feelings that don't have names. He dreams the way the house dreams, in echoes and weight and memory. He is not in his bed. He knows this because the hum is different. In his bed, the hum comes up from below him, soft and steady. Here, it comes from everywhere, pressing in on him gently, like hands guiding him through dark water. Jack floats. There is no floor, but his feet know where to rest. There is no ceiling, but he can feel something vast above him, stretched wide and watchful. The air is thick, like breathing through cloth. He makes a small sound without meaning to. The sound doesn't spread. It sinks. The world reacts. Tall shapes rise slowly from the dim, not casting shadows but collecting them. They are not fully formed, some have too many arms, others not enough faces, others wear the wrong skins loosely, like borrowed coats. They do not rush him. They recognize him. Jack feels it immediately, the attention, the gentle turn of countless thoughts sharpening toward him. He rocks. The shapes tilt as one. A low vibration rolls through the place, like distant thunder under the earth. They are pleased. One of them steps forward, a figure that looks almost right. Too right. It wears a soft face made of familiar angles, the suggestion of comfort folded over something old and rotting. It kneels. "Little listener," it murmurs, not aloud, but directly into Jack's chest. "You came down all by yourself." Jack presses his hands together hard, fingers locking. He wants to scream. No sound comes. Good, the thing seems to think. We like the quiet ones, it continues. The ones who don't spill themselves everywhere. More shapes lean inward. Some brush against Jack without touching, close enough that he feels cold trail across his skin. They want you to talk, the kneeling thing says gently. They want you to explain. That's not fair to you. Jack whimpers. The sound sinks again, rippling through the ground beneath the not ground. Yes, the thing says softly. That sound. That belongs to us. Light cuts through the dark. Grandma. Not as she was before, brighter now, sharper, taller than the shapes around her. Her presence cracks through the place like dawn-breaking stone. Jack turns and presses himself against her. She feels solid here. You shouldn't have brought him here, she says calmly. The shapes recoil slightly, not frightened, but annoyed. This is where he already is, the kneeling thing replies. He comes down each night. He hears us breathing. Grandma places both hands firmly on Jack's shoulders. He is protected. A laugh ripples through the dark. Protected things still belong to places, another voice says. And this place remembers him. The ground beneath them pulses. A doorway opens in the air itself, not a door, but a gap, like a wound in space. Inside it, Jack sees his house, not as it is, but as it feels. Old. Heavy. Full of listening spaces. This is where he lives, Grandpa's voice booms. Grandpa steps through the opening, larger than before, his presence causing the shapes to pull back like grass under fire. This is where he stays, Grandpa continues. The kneeling thing rises slowly, stretching into a shape too tall for the space. He will grow, it says. He will make more sounds. We will grow with him. Grandma strokes Jack's hair, steady and grounding. No, she says. He will learn where his sounds go. And they will starve. The shapes hiss, not angry, but uncertain. The place begins to unravel, vibration breaking into uneven rhythms. Jack clings to Grandma as the dark peels away, the hum changing pitch, lifting, dragging him upward. The last thing he feels before waking is the place tightening around him like hands reaching for something they're not ready to lose. Jack wakes with a sharp intake of breath. He is in his bed. Morning light creeps through the curtains. His sheets are twisted tight around his legs. He rocks, humming low and fast, grounding himself. From somewhere deep in the house, something knocks once. Not loud. Patient. Like it knows where he is now. Morning arrives the way it always does. Slow. Careful. Like it doesn't want to wake anybody up. Sunlight spills across Jack's bedroom floor in pale stripes, catching dust that floats lazily in the air. Birds sing outside, sharp and bright. Somewhere downstairs, a faucet turns on, then off again. Day sounds. Day used to mean safe. Jack sits on his bed, rocking slightly, fingers twisted in the corner of his blanket. His humming is quieter now, low and steady. He presses his cheek to the fabric and breathes until his chest no longer feels tight. The house feels thicker. Not darker. Just heavier. Jack slides off the bed and pads toward the open door. He pauses at the threshold, staring down the hallway. The walls look the same. The carpet smells the same. But the silence holds shape. Grandma stands at the far end of the hall, near the bathroom door. She looks dimmer in daylight, her edges softer, like she's only half allowed to be there. Still, when she smiles, the warmth rushes back. Jack lets out a soft sound and raises his hand. She shakes her head gently. Not yet, she whispers. Just watch. Jack rocks in place. The hallway bends. Not visibly, not enough for adult eyes, but Jack feels it. Like when a song goes off-key and makes his teeth itch. The floorboard near the stairs dips. Then rises. Something is moving underneath the house. Jack's humming sharpens without his permission. Grandma glances toward the ceiling, worry pulling at her face. Over Jack's shoulder, the bedroom door creaks though no air moves it. The shadow inside his room stretches longer than it should in morning light. Jack presses his palms to his chest, breathing fast. A sound slips out. Down the hallway, the shadow twists toward him. It doesn't run. It doesn't crawl. It slides, like it's part of the house deciding to rearrange itself. Grandma steps forward quickly, standing between Jack and the shadow. Enough, she says, firm but tired. It's still morning. The shadow halts. Then, it smiles. Not with a face. With recognition. The pressure in Jack's head spikes. The shadow seeps backward, flattening into the corners and sinking into the baseboards, gone in seconds. Grandma kneels. They're learning how to move when the light's on, she says quietly. Jack makes a small broken sound and drops to the floor, covering his ears. She folds him into her arms. Shoo. You didn't do anything wrong. Jack squeezes his eyes shut. The smell of toast and warmth drifts up from downstairs. His mother calls his name, bright, normal, unaware. Jack. Breakfast, honey. Jack flinches. The sound of his name echoes strangely in his head, like it's falling someplace deep instead of staying in the hallway. Grandma stiffens. They heard that, she murmurs. Downstairs, something creaks. Not a step. A stretch. Grandma straightens and looks at Jack, serious now. They're going to start trying harder, she says. During the day. When we're weaker. Jack whimpers, tugging at her sleeve. I know, she says softly. I wish I could stay where they can see me better. A ripple runs through the hallway, walls tightening, narrowing slightly, like the house drawing itself inward. She can't, Grandpa's voice rumbles. He appears near the stairs, flickering but strong. They'll use the living, he says grimly. That's always how it goes. A thump sounds below. Jack jerks. The thump comes again. Something knocks from inside the walls. His mother's footsteps approach, quick now. Jack. Are you okay? Grandma presses her hands to Jack's cheeks. You must not follow strange sounds, she whispers urgently. Even during the day. Jack nods hard, rocking. She's coming, Grandpa says. We have to move. Grandma kisses Jack's forehead. We'll find you another way, she promises. Something deeper. Something they can't copy. Then they're gone. His mother kneels in front of him a second later, concern on her face, hands warm and real. You all right, buddy? She asks gently. Jack presses his forehead into her chest, making a soft, shaky sound. The house creaks again. This time, his mother hears it. Was that the pipes? She mutters. Down below, something in the walls settles with quiet disappointment. Daylight fills the house. But the listening does not stop. Its edges square, stiffening into something like a cabinet, then a lamp, then peeling back, dissatisfied. Jack's breathing is fast and shallow now. The shadow pauses. It feels him noticing. Grandpa appears beside Grandma, solid and furious. "You don't get to wear this house," he growls. The shadow ripples, uncertain, then retracts slowly, sliding back into the hallway wall like ink into fabric. The light steadies. His mother exhales, laughing nervously. "Old houses, huh?" she mutters to herself. Jack curls in, humming again, louder, desperate. Grandma kneels close. "They followed his absence," she whispers. "He left a shape behind." Grandpa clenches his jaw. That means they're learning range. Jack suddenly jerks. His head snaps toward the hallway, eyes wide. Something knocks once inside the walls. Then twice. Then, much closer. From inside the couch. Jack screams. Not a word. A raw, tearing sound that shreds the silence. The couch shudders beneath him. Grandma slams her hands down onto the cushions. "No," she roars, her voice cracking space. The knocking stops. The silence returns too suddenly. Jack collapses into shaking sobs, rocking violently. His mother pulls him close, panicked now, whispering reassurances she doesn't understand herself. Grandma looks at Grandpa, fear naked on her face. "They can follow him now," she says. And next time, Grandpa replies grimly, "They won't wait for a house." Jack does not scream again. After the couch stops shaking, after his mother's heart finally slows and her arms stop tightening around him, Jack goes very still. His rocking fades. His humming drops to almost nothing. Stillness is safer. Stillness makes fewer shapes. They leave Grandma's house early. His mother blames old pipes. Settling wood. Her own nerves. She talks too much on the drive home, filling the car with sound like noise can keep something out. Jack stares at his hands. They feel thin. Like his sounds were peeled away from him and didn't all come back. The house looms when they pull into the driveway. It looks normal. That's the worst part. The door opens. The familiar smells rush out: soap, carpet, old heat. Jack stiffens but walks in under his own power, small steps careful and measured. The house welcomes him. Not warmly. Possessively. Grandma and Grandpa appear immediately this time, not waiting for dark, not hiding at the edges. That frightens Jack the most of all. Grandma's form flickers as she moves, light stuttering with urgency. Grandpa looks solid but strained, as though holding himself together costs effort now. "They brought something back," Grandma whispers. Grandpa nods. It stayed in the quiet he left behind. Jack hums automatically, trying to soothe himself. The sound doesn't feel right. It doesn't belong to him anymore. The house answers. Not with a noise. With an imitation. A vibration shivers through the walls, low, familiar, perfectly matched to Jack's hum, but delayed just half a breath too late. Jack freezes. He stops humming. The vibration continues. His chest tightens painfully. His hands flap sharply against his sides. He makes a panicked sound without meaning to. The walls repeat it. Precise. Hungry. Grandma rushes to him, wrapping her arms around his shoulders. "No, no, no," she whispers. "Don't answer it." The sound seeps out of the vents now, from under the floors, from inside places that should not hold voices. It layers itself, Jack's sounds stacked on top of each other, overlapping, wrong. His mother stares around the living room, confusion creeping into fear. Do you hear that? She hears it now. Grandpa's face hardens. They crossed a line, he growls. He can't stop, Grandma says desperately. They're pulling it out of him. Jack drops to the floor, rocking violently, palms slapped hard against his ears. Tears streak down his face. He makes a sound of pure distress, no words, no meaning, just pain. The house sings it back. Louder. Closer. The floor beneath Jack's knees pulses once like a heartbeat. Then a shape pushes up through the carpet. Not breaking it. Just existing through it. A hand forms first. Shadowy. Too many fingers. It curls, testing. Jack sobs. Grandma drops to her knees and presses both hands flat to the floor, her light flaring blindingly bright. No, she screams. He is not yours. The hand hesitates. Then slowly sinks back into the floor. The sound doesn't stop. It migrates. It moves toward Jack's room. Grandpa turns sharply. They're trying to anchor it. He looks at Jack, really looks at him, and for the first time, fear bleeds through his steadiness. He can't stay here anymore. Grandma's breath catches. Where can he go? Grandpa's jaw tightens. Someplace that doesn't listen. Jack's room groans. His door creaks open by itself. Inside, the shadows have rearranged. They lean inward, forming a rough circle around the center of the room, like something waiting for a performance. Jack thrashes, screams without sound, his body betraying him. Grandma cups his face, forcing his gaze to hers. Jackie, she whispers urgently. Listen to me. Not them. Me. Her voice trembles. There's a place inside you they can't copy, she says. Because it never comes out. Jack's sobbing stutters. His breathing hitches. There, she continues softly. Down deeper. Below the sounds. Grandpa places a hand over both of theirs. If you can find it, he says quietly, they lose you. The house moans, deep in its bones. The walls press inward. Jack clamps his eyes shut. He stops trying to make sense of the world. He lets go. The sounds vanish. Instantly. The house jerks like something yanked away mid-breath. Silence slams down so hard it makes his ears ring. The shadows recoil violently, collapsing back into corners, into cracks, into themselves. Jack goes limp in Grandma's arms, exhausted. The house waits. Listens. And hears. Nothing. For the first time, it does not know where Jack is. Jack is not asleep. Jack is not awake. He is somewhere smaller than a room and larger than a dream. There is no sound here. Not quiet, absence. The kind that doesn't echo when you move. The kind that doesn't press back when you breathe. Jack doesn't feel the need to hum. He doesn't feel the need to rock. He exists without leaking. The ground beneath him is neither hard nor soft. It holds him without texture. The dark is gentle and even, like closed eyes without fear. For the first time in days, Jack's body feels light. He curls in on himself and stays that way. Nothing notices. That's when Grandma finds him. she does not appear all at once. She gathers slowly, like a memory choosing to be solid. Here, she looks different, not glowing, not thin. Clear. Calm. Strong. "Oh, Jackie," she whispers. The whisper does not make sound. It lands directly inside him. He presses his face against her chest instinctively. Her arms close around him and, for once, it feels like real pressure. "This is where you hid," she says softly. "You went very deep." Grandpa arrives a moment later, solid as bedrock. He looks around, impressed despite himself. "They can't hear this place," he says. Grandma shakes her head. "They can feel where it should be." As if summoned by the thought, the dark tightens. Not moving. Estimating. Jack stiffens. A ripple passes through the nothingness, like the memory of a sound trying to exist. Jack flinches without meaning to. Far away, impossibly far, something reacts. "They felt that," Grandpa mutters. A pressure forms at the edge of the place. Not entering. Not touching. Testing the boundary like a blind thing pressing its face against glass. Jack curls tighter, panic threatening. Grandma places her palm flat against his back. "No," she soothes. "It can't take you if you don't respond." The pressure increases. The dark thins. A shape begins to suggest itself, not visible, but implied, like knowing someone is standing just behind you without looking. It tries to form sound. Nothing happens. It tries again, harder. The place rejects it. Frustration pulses outward. "They're angry," Grandpa says quietly. "They've never lost a listener like this." The pressure shifts tactics. It stops trying to copy Jack. It tries to wait. Jack feels it, the still patience of something that can afford to take centuries. The promise of inevitability. Grandma's arms tighten. "They think he'll come back up," she whispers. Grandpa kneels in front of Jack. "You could stay here," he says honestly. "For a long time." Jack's breathing speeds up. "And your body would keep living," Grandpa continues. "But not the way you should." Jack makes a small, soundless cry. Grandma cups his face. "They don't understand something yet," she says gently. "And we need to teach it to them." She presses 2 fingers lightly to Jack's chest. "Your sounds are not mistakes," she says. "They're doors. You decide when they open." The pressure outside the place surges. Hairline cracks ripple through the nothing, not breaking it, but weakening it. "They're trying to collapse the space," Grandpa warns. Grandma nods. "Then we show them what happens when you push too hard." She turns back to Jack. "You're going to go back," she says softly. "But not the same way." Jack trembles. "This time," she continues, "you won't hide. You'll anchor." Jack doesn't understand the word, but he understands the feeling. Heavy. Deep. Connected. "Your sounds won't go outward," Grandpa adds. "They'll go down." The pressure spikes. Cracks race faster now. "They know," Grandpa snaps. Grandma gathers Jack into her arms. "Hold on to us," she whispers. "And when you feel the world again, don't push your sound away." Jack clings. The nothingness folds inward. The dark compresses into a single point. And then Jack feels the house again. The weight. The listening. The hunger. He wakes with a gasp no one hears. He is on the living room floor, Grandma's arms empty around air, his mother crying his name, Grandpa standing guard like a storm. The house is very quiet. But beneath the quiet, something is afraid. Jack lies on the living room floor, his cheek pressed against the carpet. The fibers are rough. Real. They scrape gently against his skin, grounding him fully into his body again. He breathes in. The house waits. Too still. It is listening for him to spill outward again, for the familiar leak of sound, the telltale hum, the rhythmic rock. Jack does not give it that. Inside him, something feels different now. Heavier. Rooted. When his breath moves, it moves downward, sinking into his chest, into his stomach, into the places below thought. The house shifts uneasily. Grandma stands near the wall, watching with careful eyes. She looks fuller now, steadier, like she belongs in this moment. Grandpa leans against the doorway, arms crossed, expression grim but hopeful. Jack's mother sobs quietly, stroking his hair with trembling hands. "Baby, please, please." Jack looks up at her. Not with fear. With presence. Something in his gaze makes her go still. The walls creak. A shadow stretches along the baseboards, tentative this time, testing. Jack feels it move. He does not react. The shadow waits. Nothing happens. Confused, the house sends another test, a faint imitation of Jack's old hum, vibrating through the floor. Jack's fingers twitch. But he doesn't answer it. The vibration sinks downward instead, pulled into him like water into soil. The shadow stiffens. The floor beneath it sinks just a fraction. Grandma smiles for the first time in days. "That's it, Jackie," she whispers. "Hold it." A knock sounds from inside the walls, hurried now. Panicked. Another follows. The shadows along the corners ripple. The house isn't listening anymore. It's reacting. Jack shifts onto his hands and knees. The movement sends a pressure wave outward, not sound, but force. The floor creaks sharply. The nearest shadow peels away, retreating into the wall as if burned. Grandpa steps forward. "They don't know how to leave without hearing," he says. And now he's cutting the feed. A deep groan rolls through the house. Plaster cracks faintly near the ceiling. Jack feels something try to pull at him from below, not with hunger, but with fear. Not trying to take. Trying to attach. Jack presses his palms flat against the floor. The feeling pours out of him and down. The foundation shudders. A sharp snap echoes, not sound, but rupture. Somewhere beneath the house, something breaks. The shadows scream without noise. They recoil violently, collapsing inward, yanked away from the walls like film burned by light. The house convulses once. Then goes utterly still. Silence returns. Not heavy. Empty. Grandma exhales. Grandpa nods slowly. He anchored deeper than they ever did, he says quietly. They can't reach him without tearing everything else apart. Jack rocks once, then stops himself. He breathes. The house does not respond. Sunlight spills through the windows, brighter now, unfiltered. From outside, a bird lands on the windowsill and chirps sharply. The sound does not sink. It leaves. Jack's mother lets out a shaky laugh through tears. Did you feel that?" she murmurs. She has no idea what she felt. Only that something terrible left. Grandma kneels beside Jack, brushing hair from his face. They will remember this place, she says softly. And they will avoid it. Grandpa adds, but not everything that listened was cruel. Jack looks at them both. He leans forward. Presses his forehead gently to the floor. And for the first time, not as a leak, not as panic, not as bait. Jack releases a sound on purpose. It goes down into the earth. The house does not answer. The house is afraid. Years pass. The house stands the same, but it no longer listens the way it used to. It creaks for ordinary reasons now. It settles with the weather. Its corners hold dust instead of attention. Jack grows. He is still quiet. Still nonverbal. But calm lives in his body now. His movements are slower, deliberate. His sounds are gentle and intentional, kept close unless he chooses otherwise. He learns patterns that don't frighten him. He learns spaces that don't lean in. Sometimes, late at night, when the world goes soft and heavy again, Jack feels familiar warmth settle nearby. Grandma sits in the old chair. Grandpa stands by the door. They do not guard anymore. They visit. Jack presses his palms together and hums, just a little. The sound sinks downward, steady and contained. The house remains quiet, respectful. Nothing watches. Nothing waits. Grandma smiles. You did well, she whispers. Jack rocks once, gently. Outside, wind moves through the trees and keeps going. The night listens. And moves on.